Mr. Kevin.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Second graders.
Hello.
You're here. Mrs. Willie.
Yes, Miss Oslin.
You're here.
You're here.
I'm here.
Oh my goodness. What is going on?
Mr. Kevin, you're here.
A car just drove by behind us on our TV classroom. What
is going on?
What is back there?
Got some smoke back there in the
Friends,
smokestacks.
Have you noticed some changes here at the TV classroom? Guess what? We're teaching science now. Yes. And we get to do really amazing, fun things. We do learning, and sometimes we're going to go on field trips.
We're going to go outside.
Or have special guests come in, or maybe even do some experiments.
Oh, I hope it gets messy.
Yes, I know it's going to be so much fun. That's the really fun part about science, is sometimes it gets really, really messy. So, before we begin though, let's start with our zone.
Okay.
Zones it is.
Zones it is, Mr. Kevin says. So, friends, take a think.
Take a think.
That's going to be my new phrase.
Take a think, like the email machine.
Yep.
Right? Take a think.
What is your brain feeling? What are your emotions feeling like? What's your body feeling like?
I can tell you what I'm feeling. I think I can tell what you're feeling too, but I'll let you use your own iMessage. I'm feeling really excited.
Oh, me too.
You guys, I got too excited and Mr. Kevin told me I can't yell because it hurts his ears. So.
Yeah. I am
awesome.
also a little bit in the yellow zone. I'm really excited.
Yeah.
It's just so fun.
It's so fun.
And I'm just hoping that you have such a good time with us today.
Yeah.
Mr. Kevin, how are you feeling?
Oh, thanks for asking. I am feeling fantastic.
Are you in the green zone or the yellow zone?
That means I'm in the green zone,
Well,
friends.
he's not in the yellow
Yes.
zone with us, so that's
He's
good.
not,
Someone
yes.
has to be in the green zone.
Somebody
in the
needs
TV
to be-
classroom.
Somebody's got to drive this ship.
That's
right.
true. That's true.
Okay, now, we have 3 personal standards that we will use for every single lesson that we do.
Yep. Today and every day, we agree to 3 behaviors so that everyone feels safe thinking and speaking and learning and sharing.
That's correct.
And they are, get ready to say these with us, show respect, make good decisions, solve problems. So you show respect when you show up, when you come to school.
And
when
have your things.
You have your things. You make good decisions when you get your work done.
When we say to write in your journal some observations, you don't just sit and stare and watch Miss Oslin and I think. You actually write down those things in your journal.
And then problems are going to come up. And we're going to work together as a community to solve problems. So let's get started. I have a question. We have a question for our second
every
graders.
single science lesson is going to have a question. We call this an essential question.
Ooh, essential question.
How do animals decide where to live?
Oh.
Like, I know how I decide where to live. I like to find the house, it's near my work. Sometimes it's near family.
Has to have like the right number of bedrooms to fit my
Right.
family.
Yeah, but how does an animal decide? I mean, we're animals,
Yeah.
but how do animals that are not from the human part of the animal kingdom
Yeah.
decide where to live?
Because like thinking about our animal friends here, like
Yeah.
Mabel and Rashid and Rafa and Chili,
They live in
they live in different parts of the world.
Right. Well, and Mabel and Rashid kind of live together.
Oh, and they're both penguins.
They might live, but
Different kinds of penguins.
live in different parts of the world. So
That's
how do
true.
they know where to live? They don't have a book to open up and I will study a place if I want to move there. Like Mr. Wally and I are thinking of getting some land over kind of by Gig Harbor. And we're doing a lot of studying about that community and what it's like and how to build and all of those kinds of things. But
or if you wanted to move far away, you would study like the climate to decide if that works for you.
Animals
don't
go
do
to the
that.
library.
They don't. Let's look at some pictures and see if we can do some thinking about how animals decide where to live. And this is the question that we're going to come back to
over and over and
over.
And you need to have your learning notebook and your pencil because you're going to be doing some writing of some observations that you notice.
As you're doing this, we have provided you with some sentence frames, which means we've given you a frame in order to stick your thinking. It's a lot like your iMessage. I feel, because, So don't worry about creating the sentence because we did most of that work for you.
Yeah, we did that so that you can really use your brain power to think about your observations, not having to worry about how am I going to write the sentence. We want you to just be able to write the sentence. So we want your brains to really be focusing on those observations, second graders.
And also, what questions do you have? That might sound like who, what, where?
Why?
Tell me about? What is that?
Okay, are you ready? I'm gonna give you 2 minutes for this first one to go ahead and do some thinking and some jotting down your observations. And I'm gonna do the same.
Keep
Ready?
in mind our essential questions.
Oh,
How do
sorry.
animals decide where to live?
2 minutes.
All right. We should have them tell us some of their observations
Yes.
first.
Yes.
Okay. Friends, what are some things that you observed in these pictures? You can tell your learning buddy or tell us on the TV screen, but make sure you say it out loud.
Use the sentence frames to help you. I observed, or I noticed. Wow. A lot of different ideas and thinking. What did you notice, Mrs. Wally?
Well, I observe a hill with tunnels and holes. And there's like this little white specks inside the holes.
I wonder what that is.
I also noticed worms digging. And I noticed a rock with flowers and grass. I wonder, though, how these pictures go together. I'm not quite sure how they go together. But they're all on the same page, so they must connect somehow.
They must.
But I'm not sure. Do you have any ideas at home of how these pictures might connect?
Let's look at another group of pictures and see if that gives us an idea.
Okay. If you need more space, just go to the next page.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
another 2 minutes. Here
Okay.
we go. Jocelyn, would you share some of your observations with us?
Okay, so I was thinking about the last picture, and we weren't sure how the rock and the plants and the animals were connected.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about animal homes, or how animals decide where to live. And I see this spider, and I'm wondering if is that the rock?
It kind of looks like the rock. And I noticed in the picture
background.
next to it,
Yeah.
all 3 of those pictures have a little piece of gray in it that looks
Yes.
like the rock.
Yes.
But it looks like different animals.
Yes. Like crickets, right? And spider.
And then something with slimy
Something-
trails.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a garden at our house,
Mm-hmm.
and Mr. Wally, he puts this metal flashing on the edge of the garden bed because what happens is slugs climb up, but they don't like the metal, so they won't get into the garden. But I know when the sun hits those garden beds, I can see all these slimy
Yes.
trails. So I'm wondering if it's slugs
I've seen those
because
too.
they look just like in that picture. I'm also noticing they're all kind of in a different part. Like the spider's like hanging under the rock, and those cricket creature things are like in the grass. And then it looks like the slugs are like all over that plant.
all
It looks
over.
like it may have even eaten part of that leaf.
Yeah. What would Mr. Wally think if that was a plant in your garden?
Well, we would
I'd have been a little irritated.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes the insects eat our plants. That's okay. At least it helps them live.
That's true. I wonder if they decide where to live based on what plants are there, or what food
Well,
is
and
there.
we're not going to be planting food this year. We're going to be planting flowers this year
Oh.
instead of food. So I'm wondering if we'll get different bugs.
That would be cool.
I'll have to report back
Yes,
after the summer and let you know.
Definitely. Okay, we have one more chart.
And this time, we're just going to have you think for 1 minute. Okay.
Ready?
Yep,
Yes.
1 minute. Here we go.
There's a minute.
Wonderful.
Mrs. Wally,
I noticed.
this
I know-
confirmed what you were thinking.
I know it did. It totally confirms what I was thinking. Friends, it's slugs. Look at the slimy stuff and look at the creatures after it. That's a slug.
It is.
And it's most definitely eating that plant.
Most definitely.
What's in that top picture? What do you notice?
It looks like it has a lot of legs.
It does.
So it's not a worm.
Is it a millipede or a centipede?
Oh. And it looks like it's in the shadow underneath the rock.
Oh. Well, I'm kind of predicting
Oh.
that maybe these different creatures might have chosen to live under this rock.
Oh.
And like you're saying how that creature up there is in the shade, but I noticed the crickets were in the sun.
Yeah.
And so maybe this whole habitat of the rock provides a place for the different needs of these animals.
I'm noticing there's so many different animals
There
and
are.
plants. Like this plant with the flowers is different than the plant that we saw in the last picture.
Yeah, and the grass.
And the grass.
And then there's the dirt
Oh my goodness.
and the rock.
There's so many things
So
happening.
it's a little habitat.
It is.
Oh. And not just one kind of creature.
Not just one
I
kind.
wonder why all of those creatures chose that place.
Yeah.
There must be something about that place
Where they all get something from
that
it.
they need.
Yeah.
Because I know I choose a home based on what I need. I think we're getting some connections
I
made
think
to that
so.
question we
I
had.
think so. I think we're ready for a word, a big science word.
Okay.
Are you ready, second graders?
You
Okay,
ready?
put your notebooks away.
Yeah, put 'em away.
your pencils away.
You need your hands ready.
You need lots of brain power for this
Would you
one.
like me to announce it? Big science word.
Okay, I love it. I think we should rename our chart the Big Science Words.
I think so.
Yeah.
We were going to call this a CCD.
Also known as the Cognitive Content Dictionary, but I think, Mr. Kevin, we're going to change it to
Yep.
the big science
Big
words.
science words. Okay.
I love it.
So we are going to learn a word today. You might know what this word means. You might know what part of this word means. You might have never heard
idea.
this word before.
But by the time we're done, you're going to know.
You'll know it. Here we go. The word is biodiversity.
Let's do the syllables.
Yeah, let's do that.
You ready?
I
Are you
am.
going to clap?
Yes, I'll clap.
I'm going to put it on my body. So
Okay,
you
here we go.
decide which way works for you. Biodiversity. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Biodiversity. 6.
6.
I
got
went
6.
one further.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. Wow. 6 syllables.
That's what. Can we do it one more time?
Yes, please.
Biodiversity. That means there's 6 vowel sounds. Let's say them.
Okay.
I-O-I-R-I-E.
I missed that last one.
That's okay. Should we do it
E.
one?
Yeah, let's do it one more time.
I-O-I-R-I-E.
E.
There's
Got it.
that crazy
Okay.
R.
I know. I know. That threw me off because it's that R-controlled vowel.
R control crazy R, man.
Okay.
ER.
Biodiversity.
Biodiversity. Well, I could chunk that word. Biodiversity.
Oh, I've heard diversity.
Oh, we hear that a lot. What does that mean?
It's at school, and we talk about how there's lots of different kinds of people.
So it's different ways or different things.
Yeah. Things that are different.
Things that are different.
Bio.
Bio. Like biology?
Oh! I took that class.
What happened in that class?
We learned about like the world, the plants and the animals, and we talked about habitats
And like how it all relates?
and how it all is connected.
Bio. I wonder if that's like
Yeah.
living things.
Living things. Oh, so living things that are different. Different. Biology.
Oh,
Okay.
So biology. Biology must be like the
okay.
way it like lives and survives or something, and like all the parts that make it up.
So like thinking about how animals decide where to live, and under that rock there were a lot of different kinds of plants and animals.
Right, and so like maybe like they all use each other and the things to all survive together,
And they have to coexist, right?
or maybe not survive. Maybe,
Or maybe
some are
not.
it's food for the other ones.
Maybe.
But if that wasn't there, then that one wouldn't be able to
Yeah.
live there. So they all kind of like have to live together.
Everything has a place. Okay. Our final meaning of the word biodiversity. Are you ready? Everyone say biodiversity.
Biodiversity.
Biodiversity is the variety of life in the world or in a particular habitat or ecosystem. Now, every time Mrs. Wally or myself or Mr. Kevin says the word biodiversity,
We're gonna do a
you-
hand motion.
And then you're going to repeat back the word and the hand motion.
You ready?
Okay, so
See if I can remember it. I think I can. Okay.
Okay.
Oops.
Biodiversity
Diversity
is
is
the variety of life in the world or a particular habitat or ecosystem.
So we can just say
the
variety of
world.
life in the world because
Okay.
it's just like a shortened version of the definition.
Love it. Love it. Okay, here we go.
So
Biodiversity, the variety of life in the world. Are you doing this at home?
You need to do it with us.
Please do this with us.
Can we do each sign separately so they know it?
Yes. Okay.
Okay, so this sign actually means different, but
Different.
we're using the word variety.
As variety. Yeah.
Okay, you ready? So the variety, and then life is like upside down L's, and then up, like this. Does it go all the way up, or does it just go? I thought the video was just like this.
Yeah, probably just like this.
So now I know that we have some students who know ASL in our
Yes.
district, and we have some teachers. So if we're doing it wrong, please tell us.
Yeah. Or if there's a better sign.
Yeah. And you know what we might do is we might reach out to some of those
Let's
teachers
do
and
that.
help us.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, so
The variety of life in the world.
Biodiversity.
Biodiversity.
So that's what we're going to say every time.
Should we practice?
Yep. Biodiversity.
The variety.
Oh, I thought we were going to repeat the word.
Oh, we do. I apologize. Okay.
Biodiversity.
Biodiversity. The variety of life in the world.
Okay.
Okay, now let's use it in a sentence so that it really makes more sense and kind of has some context.
There we go.
They looked in the forest and were amazed at the biodiversity,
the variety of life in the world
in front of them. Okay.
So they were amazed at all the life
All the
they
different
could
life
see.
that they
It was not
saw.
just one thing that they saw. Like, I'm thinking about when we went on that safari.
Yes. We saw
There
so
was a
many
lot of
different things.
biodiversity, variety of life in the world.
And I'm thinking about in the forest, and I've been in the forest, so I can think of all the different things that I've seen and heard and smelled in the forest.
You know, in just a minute, I'm going to do a special thing about the life in a forest.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
The biodiversity,
variety of life in the world. Okay. Now that we know that biodiversity, the variety of life in the world, has to do with the variety of life in the world around us, I want you as a scientist to think about, what do you think you already know? And we say that very intentionally. Not what do I know, what do I think I know?
Because scientists think they know, and then they validate it or verify it by doing experiments and research. So we can think we know something, but as scientists, we always must be open to changing
Change
our
our
thinking
thinking.
if we can find evidence that is solid and scientifically proven to change our thinking. And that's why you might hear things like, you only need to wear a 1-layer mask. And then a few months later, like, actually it needs to be two or
layers.
more. And that's because they did research and investigations, and they learned that it actually needed to be more. And so as scientists, we're going to say, we think we know. Yes, Mr. Kevin?
One thing I know about scientists, because I have a cousin who is a scientist.
Oh, really?
And they constantly seek to verify their
Always.
verify their answers against other scientists.
Yes.
Right? So my cousin might say, well, you know, the world is round, and this is why I think it's round. And then another scientist will say, well, yeah, we've calculated that the world is round too.
And here's how we
good.
know.
And here's how we know. So they constantly validate each other's science. And if somebody comes up and says, hey, I've got evidence of something else, then everybody listens to that and tries to replicate what they're
Yes.
trying to say. Does that make sense?
Even if it's different than what we think.
Yeah, or even if it seems a little strange.
Yeah.
Scientists
Totally.
are like, okay, let's investigate.
Let's get curious.
Yeah.
That's the great thing about science. It's all about being curious and wondering and like trying to figure things out. And that's why I love science. It helps me use all the things I've learned in school to be able to solve the questions about the world and Earth
Yes.
and our people.
Right.
Yes.
It's great. Okay.
Fine.
So what friends do you think you know? You might say, like, I think I know, or what I think I know about biodiversity is, oh, there it was.
Biodiversity, the variety of life in the world.
What do you think you know about biodiversity, Ms. Oslin?
Well, going back to like that forest, I'm thinking that like there must, and thinking about our essential questions, how do animals choose where to live? And they chose the forest for a reason. And I'm wondering why one animal would choose to live in the forest as opposed to on the beach. Or is there some animals that can live in both places? Or some plants are in both places?
Oh.
Because they're really close together, like around here in Tacoma.
I know last week when we went to Mount Rainier,
Oh, yeah.
talked about this.
He did.
Talked about the different the different ecosystems of the mountain and how some of the animals travel between them depending on where the snow was to meet their needs.
That's right.
What do you want to learn? Mr. Kevin, what do you hope we learn?
About biodiversity?
Yep.
Yep.
Biodiversity,
the variety of life in the world.
Well, this is something that I've been told before, is that biodiversity is important to all creatures. In other words, we all depend on one another for life to continue. And so my hope is that we learn about why that is true.
So why do we depend on each other?
Why? Why do we need biodiversity? Why isn't it just-
Biodiversity,
The variety of life in the world. Mr. Kevin likes that.
He does. But
love
it's
it.
so good. I love that he's doing that because
I know.
it really helps us to learn that word and know it. The more we say it and do the action, the more we're going to know the word.
And I'm noticing even just from the beginning of our lesson, I can do it without thinking
much
about
faster.
it.
Where before I was having to really think hard.
Focus on it.
Well, I thought maybe we should take a look at a forest and look at the biodiversity in the forest.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
I said it. Here we go, Miss Oswin.
Biodiversity, variety of life in the world.
Okay. So, today I'm going to be drawing and teaching you about a forest habitat. And I'm going to be doing it in layers. So the first layer I'm going to do is going to be the plants. So if you look here, I have, dun, dun. I bet you can guess what it is that I'm drawing here. The plants are really important in a habitat because the plants are what help nourish some of the creatures. It's also what provides creatures homes. And what I'm drawing here in the forest is a tree. Now this tree on my picture had all these little tiny leaves, but I don't think you want to sit here and watch me draw little tiny leaves. So I'm not going to draw little leaves. But the trees are actually overlapping. And I'm kind of wondering why that might be. And let's see, I'm going to do some more of the branches. And then some more of the leaves. So here's a tree. And then there's also some grasses and some dirt. And there's like a rock and some more grass. And then here's like a bush. And then we have some more bushy creature plant things. That was a very scientific term I used there. And then this is a really interesting part of this habitat. I have an old stump. Now, up Mr. Wally's parents have a cabin up in the woods. And right by their home is an old stump. And every time I go there, the hole in the stump looks different.
Interesting.
It looks more decomposed. Now, the next important part are the fungi. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do the fungi in red too, because it's kind of part of the plants. Fungi and bacteria, these are things that you see growing, and this happens here in Washington a lot because of all of the rain. Things like mushrooms. Now, mushrooms can be edible to humans, but some of them are really poisonous and can kill you. So it's really important if you see a mushroom out in the wild that you don't eat it unless you have permission from an adult or the adult has identified it. So it's not something you just go and pick and eat. Some of them you can eat, and they're delicious to have with your food or in your salad, but not all of them are edible. So please do not go finding mushrooms and just eating them.
No.
They can make you really sick, or some of them can even kill you. So please don't just go eat them.
When we go on woods walks, we really enjoy looking at all the different types of fungi and mushrooms.
Yeah,
there's
that's
a
really
ton
fun.
of different types.
There really are, and so it's really fun to kind of look at. So why are those fungi there? Well, there's a certain group of animals that live in the forest, and these animals are called decomposers.
Decomposer.
Everyone say decomposer.
Decomposer.
And the decomposers work with the fungi. It's part of it is the fungi and bacteria. Say fungi and bacteria.
Fungi and bacteria.
And there's some other creatures that go along with it. So this fungi and bacteria, the reason it's on those logs is it's helping eat and decompose it.
Oh, like compost.
Yes.
Okay.
Think about what else you put in a compost bin. Does anyone know what animals live in a compost bin?
Ah, yeah.
These.
Worms.
Worms. I cannot say this word. I tried and tried. I think it's detritus.
Detritus.
Thank you. Detritus feeders. That's part of
Yep.
these decomposing world. Insects and worms. So
Detritus
things
feeders.
like worms, centipedes, ants. There's my little ant. Another little ant. It's kind of hard to draw with these big, thick markers. Those things eat the wood, the mushrooms. They tunnel in all of the dirt and they churn it all up to be food for the plants.
Got it.
Then the plants use that decomposed earth to grow beautiful, nice leaves for this next group of animals. The next group of animals are primary consumers. And at the end, I'm going to go back and label the trees for us. I forgot to say what we call those in the forest.
Oh,
but
okay.
I'll go back at the end
Yeah.
and we'll do
Yeah,
that because it all goes full circle.
Yeah.
So primary consumers are herbivores.
Primary consumers, herbivores.
Herbivores eat the plants.
Oh, this is a whole cycle here, isn't this?
It is.
Okay.
Okay? So something that might eat the plants is a mouse. The mice eat the plants. They eat these plants. These plants, I'll just do it now. So the herbivores eat the producers. Everyone say producers.
Producers.
Producers are the green plants.
We call Kevin our producer
Uh-huh.
because he makes our show, right?
Makers of nutrients.
That's about right. Yeah.
Yeah,
I also eat plants.
You also eat plants.
I do too. I dropped my cap, but that's okay.
Okay, that's okay.
So another type of primary consumer is a rabbit.
Oh,
Now, I forgot to sketch my rabbit, so I'm just going to draw a little rabbit head with big floppy ears. Mrs. Wally is not an artist.
Well, it's a good thing because this is science and we're just
Yep.
doing quick sketch. It looks great.
And the rabbit eats the producer or a squirrel. This is why we do the sketch beforehand, friends, so that it actually looks like the animals I'm talking about. The squirrel. They eat things like the leaves or like the berries that fall off or the nuts that fall off of trees.
the seeds.
Okay, so if there's producers and the primary consumers eat the producers, what eats the primary consumers? Well, the secondary consumers.
Secondary consumer.
Those are the carnivores.
Carnivores.
They eat meat.
Carnivores eat
So
meat.
make a prediction.
Okay.
What are the secondary consumers going to eat?
They're carnivores. They eat meat, but probably smaller than them.
Yep,
So they're going to eat the squirrels and the mice and the rabbits.
that eat the trees.
That eat the trees.
That use the decomposers and feeders to create nutrients so those trees can grow.
Yeah.
And then these secondary consumers then have waste. And the primary
That the
consumers have
decomposers-
waste that then the decomposers use to provide nutrients
nutrients.
for the producers.
Oh my goodness. This
Would
is
you like to
quite-
know what some of the secondary consumers are in a forest?
Yes.
Every habitat's different. One of them is this. I'm going to do a little zoom in here.
Oh, like it's
Into
inside the tree.
And here's the branch of the tree. This consumer lives in the branches of the tree. They have feathers.
Oh,
They
I
have
see its shape.
talons.
Yep.
It could be a hawk or an eagle or an owl. Some of the birds, but typically the hawks and the eagles are the secondary. birds typically eat like seeds and nuts and those kinds of things.
So it'd be a larger.
A larger bird.
Okay.
And that larger bird eats things like rabbits, squirrels, and mice. Another secondary consumer is this guy right here. We don't have a lot of these in Washington. We tend to have coyotes in our forests or mountain lions.
Oh, we learned that from Ranger Ben.
This is a fox. And the fox eats things like the mice and the rabbit. And then when those decompose, they provide nutrients for the producers. Do you remember how you said that word again?
Detritus.
Detritus. See how it's important to be with people? Detritus feeders feed on all these things and help decompose it so the fungus can grow and decompose, and then it makes nutrients for the producers that create green leaves for the primary consumers, which create food for the secondary consumers, which then leave the carcass and their droppings for the decomposers again, and then it just happens all over and over again.
Rinse and repeat.
But take a look at the biodiversity here.
Biodiversity, variety of life in the world.
The biodiversity of this forest habitat,
There's so many
we've got
different.
plants, we've got animals with 4 legs, with 2 legs, we have insects, we have bacteria, we have fungus, we have rabbits, we have squirrels, we have all these different types of creatures.
And they all chose
This
to
one
live
place
here.
to live because they all help each other survive and grow.
Wow.
And when they eat one of these, they have offspring and those babies grow up. And it's the way the habitat works.
And it continues.
Shall we sing a song?
Let's do it.
You ready for a song, friends?
Mr. Kevin, are you ready?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Okay.
This is the Conservationist
Boogaloo.
Boogaloo. Now, the important thing about biodiversity, the variety of life in the world, is that we need to take care of it.
Yes.
And we need to conserve it. As humans, we tend to like, that looks like a really nice place to live. And then we tear it all down and build buildings.
Yep.
But then we just took their entire world away.
Yep.
So, are you ready? Here
I'm
we go.
ready. Oh, I'm going to do my best.
We're going to sing it together.
Sing along with us as you figure out the beat and the words.
Here we go. Ready?
I'm a conservationist and here to say I study the earth every day. Sometimes I write a paper, sometimes I read a book, but usually I go out and take a look. Populations, habitats, biodiversity too. Doing the conservation boogaloo. I watch lots of animals, don't you know? And see how populations change fast or slow. If we destroy the habitats, it's so sad.
We got that one wrong.
Can we miss that beat? Nature can adapt that fast and things get bad. Populations, habitats, biodiversity too. Doing the conservation boogaloo. We got it that time.
Yeah.
We did.
So it's up to us to watch the earth these days, see that people use it wisely every day. Nature creates a balance, we need to watch it well. We don't want to end up all extinct, no way. Populations, habitats, biodiversity too, doing the conservation boogaloo. So much fun.
We're going to sing that lot.
We're gonna get so good at that.
Now, here's the exciting part, friends. We're not done talking about how do animals decide where to live.
Not even close.
Next time, we are going to go out into a few different habitats and take a look at the biodiversity, the
so
variety of life
in the world.
We're going to talk about what we're seeing actually outside. We're going to leave the classroom. You don't get to leave your classroom really right now, but we can go and show you on video. And we're going to be scientists and observe and try to find all the diversity we can, the biodiversity.
Yeah. Biodiversity, the variety of life in the world.
All wrong.
That's okay. We'll try
Let me try it again.
Yeah. Biodiversity, the variety of life in the world.
going to be so great.
It's going to be so great. Now, your job is to write everything that you think you know or wonder about biodiversity. Biodiversity, the variety of life in the world. And you're going to send it to us here at our TV classroom. Mr. Kevin's going to tell you how you can send that to us.
Yes.
Second graders, just fire up your email machine and point it to TV Classroom at tacoma.k12.wa.us. You can also mail us something. We would love to see any drawings you have to share. Wouldn't it be fun? And we'll show them on air.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we
TV
will.
Classroom, 601 South 8th Street, Tacoma, Washington, 98405.
Wonderful.
Oh, this is my favorite part.
Me too.
Our affirmation. This is when we get to say positive things to lift ourselves up before we go off to do our independent work. And today our affirmation is, I am a scientist.
All of you were being scientists today.
Oh my gosh, observations, we thought about what we know.
Making connections,
We
asking questions.
did all that.
Yep.
So take a deep breath and say out loud, I am a scientist. Excellent job today, second graders. We hope you have a great rest of your day, and we look forward to seeing you back here next time, not in our TV classroom, but with our TV
That's
classroom.
right.
Bye.
See you later.
Hey kids, we want to see your work. Just send your pictures and your stories to TV Classroom, 601 South 8th Street, Tacoma, Washington, 98405.